I don't know. I think it's really cool when you split up a story. I've always loved the idea of telling a story and then telling the same story from a different perspective, and then telling the same story from a different perspective. And
Yeah,
I'm very curious to see how it works in an RP, like a TTRPG setting,
yeah,
because one thing I really want to see if like someone goes, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm going to switch over to this other crew. Or wait, I got swept up into this story and now I have to go with this other crew
yeah. So
on
we
in
don't
this
really know
other
what
direction.
the format is going to be yet, but it's theorized to be that like the first group plays for potentially like a couple of months, and then like it goes to the next group for a couple of months,
Oh,
because they
interesting. Okay.
because they only broadcast once a week, and then they don't
Hmm.
broadcast the last week of the month. They only do like 3 episodes a month. So potentially like anywhere
Oh,
from like 9 to 10 episodes of a group, and then they switch to the next group and do their narrative, and it'll be interconnected stories that like they're all affecting the world in some way. It's also theorized to be Middle Earth because Brandon
yeah.
threw out a very like an
Well,
actual place in Middle Earth as like the setting.
yeah. It reminded me of that video game where you followed the other crew in that were paralleling the main group in Fellowship of the Rings. I forget what it was called, but there was a video game that came out during that time that followed a different group of people, and you were experiencing like the story in periphery around like
Oh, that's
Aragorn
pretty
and
cool.
Frodo. And yeah, I forget what it was called. Let me see if I can look it up real quick.
Yeah.
Just jump in for a second here and just say, since we started recording, we have been recording this conversation. You're joining us mid-conversation. This is Between the Geeks. It's kind of after episode 4. We're still trying. This is a new thing. Hope it works out. Hope you like it. Carry on.
Do
Carry
want to
on.
offer a correction. So I've never played a formal West Marches game, but I was in a Tomb of Annihilation campaign, and that campaign sort of lends itself to a West Marches style of play, in that a big portion of the campaign is you are adventuring through a jungle. The map is obscured, and so you have like a map where most of it is drawn in, and then there's like blank hexes everywhere. So you don't know what's on those hexes, and like the flip side of the map is the DM side, and they have a fully illustrated version of the map. So like you're going through sort of blindly to figure out where you want to go, and each hex is like a day's worth of travel, and it very much focuses on like you got to track your water, you got to track your food, you got to track bug repellent because the bugs carry infectious diseases. You have to keep track of like your light sources if everybody doesn't have dark vision. You got to
That
decide,
reminds
are
me
you
of
going to travel
playing
by boat?
Pathfinder.
And so, and that was super fun. That allowed me to really lean into doing ranger
Mhm.
stuff, and that's like that's a constant problem in editions of D&D that are not fourth edition, where rangers don't get to do rangery things, because spellcasters get to do it all and then some. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's definitely a style of play where you have to want to do the accounting of it. Because like if you get a group that like doesn't want to do that, it's torturous for them.
So it sounds to me like it goes from, if you compare it in the video game world, it goes from being a sports sim where you're playing as a team member to a sports coaching sim where you're keeping track of every single statistic.
It's more like the difference is more like a narrative game would be like Minecraft Dungeons, whereas a West Marches game is Minecraft.
Okay. Okay.
Like where it's more about like there isn't a story, and it's more about like what you explore and what you can find, and stuff like might come up, like in just standard survival edition of Minecraft. Like it's, you might find a cave like right outside of where you spawn, and like you like, oh well, what's down there? And you find, there might be there might be a spider generator down there, and suddenly it's overrun with spiders, and like that's a story that emerges out of that. Whereas like Minecraft Dungeons, it's much more like a dungeon crawl game where it has a story that you're going through, and like you play with your friends and go through that. But as far as I know, like you're not tracked, like you don't have to constantly like farm food to get stuff, and it's much more like, oh, you find loot to put on, and then you like kill stuff, and then you get more loot, and yeah.
Sounds
as
like a video
grindy.
game RPG to a certain extent,
Yeah. It's more of like, yeah, like a
like an MMO or
traditional
something.
video game RPG versus a crafting survival game. Like, but you still have the RPG elements in it. It's just that you have this added layer of exploration on top of it. So, yeah. It just, you combine that with base building, and like that's what I want. That and fishing, and like there we go. That's my perfect RPG.
Bringing stuff in from other episodes, the whole base thing. There was so much more to talk about there. I feel like that's a whole. You could spend so much time
Absolutely.
just on your base,
Absolutely.
in any form.
It is. I'm playing in a D&D campaign right now where we are at the level where we can get bastions, which are they're customizable fortresses that you get as part of leveling up. Like you just get it at a certain character level and then it improves automatically. But because we're doing Spelljammer and we're in space, like we don't get bastions, and I'm like, no, just give me my house. Give me my
Your house is a spaceship.
Give me my fortress where I can keep my animals, please.
I think I'm the only one in the world who plays this game, but DC Universe Online has always had a very good base system. Just alone with the regular, not even paying into a higher tier of the game, you're allowed to do a lot with your base. And I think if it weren't for that, I probably wouldn't have gone back into it as many times as I have. But you add to that a league, or any group you form, having its ability to have a league hall, which is essentially just a giant version of all those bases that you share and you grind everything for. It adds such a community base to it that already existed, but was sort of a distant net, whereas now it feels like it's a very tight community.
The Old Republic eventually introduced player housing as well, and it was like you got like an apartment. And I don't know if they had any sort of like guild housing in that. But I know when Warcraft eventually does housing, it'll be that you can do like a guild neighborhood.
Oh, cool.
And what it'll be is that everybody gets their own houses, but it'll be like you can go with your guild and basically set up your own HOA, because it's the United States where Blizzard is made, and therefore we can't escape HOAs. But essentially, your guild can move in and do the neighborhood, and that way, like, everybody gets to pick their own house in the neighborhood, and then you get to set, like, the idea is that the neighborhood, there will be like neighborhood quests that you can do, but you get your choice of it. And so like you can elect like a neighborhood board from your guild members, and like they can direct what quests like the neighborhood works towards, which it might be like that everybody like crafts something, or it might be like that you do certain types of quests or that stuff.
Can you do something? Can one of the people be like the blacksmith or the Fletcher, or do those types of skills, or a potions master and open a store in these things, or is that not that?
No, these are it's entirely cosmetic. Like there may be crafting stuff that's included.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah. Although Blizzard did introduce like the crafting order system, so like that's kind of available now, where what you do is you're able to request pieces of gear to be built by people who have those crafting skills, and you put in a work order, and you can either, if you know somebody, you can put in a work order directly to them, or you can put in a public one. It's a little janky in that like you can't set a quality rating in the public one, and so like you could say, oh, I want top tier gear, and then somebody's like, oh, cool, they take your work order and they just produce like baseline gear. But that does currently exist. It's not a shop though. So like you won't be able to put like a bunch of inventory out to sell to other people. But there's some sort of instancing that's going to be going on with it too. But I saw they showed off some they did like a virtual tour. So almost like if you're doing like a virtual apartment tour, like a house tour at Gamescom. And it was wild, just the amount of detail that they put into it. So it was a 3-story house that also had a stable and like a tent outside with like a trellis entryway with like grapevines growing on it. There was a fountain, and there was like an orchard in the back, and it was in front of a river that went by, so that like you could have a dock and like go fishing and stuff from it. And then when you went inside, the inside was massive. That like you had so that there was like a storehouse for like kegs, and then there was essentially like a tavern area in like the main hall that then branched off to like storage rooms, and then like if you went up the stairs, it went to like a long hallway that had like small like bedrooms and stuff branching off of. That then went to this landing with a staircase where it was just floor to ceiling bookshelves that went up to like another tavern that had a loft. And that, you know, on like the ground floor, there was like a cavern with a shrine in it. And I'm just like, this is cooler than everybody's like real houses.
Yeah, you're getting into territory. Like there's some people I've seen like in Minecraft where they've like literally tried to like rebuild the Library of Alexandria.
Yes.
Like it's crazy, some of the detail that goes in with a little bit of community effort.
Yeah.
Bonkers. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if anybody else has anything to say on any topics from the last couple episodes, anything at all, anything sticking in anybody's head.
Just one more quick thing about game difficulty. Another example was everybody complained about Donkey Kong Bonanza being way too easy. And then apparently you get to the post game, and that game ratchets up the difficulty like you wouldn't believe. And it becomes like a real like precision platforming, which is weird because it's not a platforming game really. It's like you just smash through the environment to get stuff. But it turns into like a precision platformer time attack game. And it's wild. So like that's a great example of like you can have optional difficulty to really test people like without even having like difficulty sliders for the game. That it's just like you can put it as optional post-game content and be like, this is where you really test people, is like you do it like after the main story.
I feel like a lot of the games sort of now that come out have that dividing point where it's like, do we know, is this player going to be just the one time they're going to finish the story, or are they coming back for more and more and more and more each time? I feel like Grand Theft Auto is one of those where you can kind of play through, you can get the gist, let's just smash around. But there are people who are like they've literally figured out like what to invest in your internet phones in Grand Theft Auto to get the most yield back. Like it's insane the level that people dive into in that post-game world.
And I think Zelda's done it too, like since its inception, where like if you beat the game, you then unlock like master mode, where it's I think it's like you're limited to 3 hearts or something, or you take double damage or whatever.
Oh,
and
wow.
then, like you can't use certain items, and yeah.
I can't remember what game it was like that recently. Oh, it was one of the Tony Hawk games. Essentially, you 100% the game, and they're like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
And they throw you the professional challenges, which is like, without cheats, score one combo that's worth 5 million points in this one level. Yeah, huge.
Yeah. So that's it. I just wanted to add that because I was like, I'm not going to get to talk about Donkey Kong. And I'm like, that's another one. So that's it.
Ogre?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. I was looking through this thing. I think it's all been said so far. I didn't order the chips.
Yeah, that's one thing we have to do that. I think it would be cool
Oh.
for you to have a chip, for us to have a chip. I don't know if we want to do it at the same time or what kind of disaster that'll lead to, or if we want to each just do our separate kind of like viral version of it. But I think that's something we should definitely talk about.
Oh yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
I sent along the link for those. I'll see. Let's see here. Let us know soon. It's just a request. It's not actually getting ordered there. So, Well, anyways, we can always do a food challenge. That might be fun. Like eat
That
a
would
hot
be.
pepper or something.
Yeah, this whole thing
Destroy
we're
or something.
pumping in ideas so this thing can grow and breathe, and we'll do all kinds of fun stuff. This has been Between the Geeks. Thanks for joining me, guys. Geek on, all that fun stuff. We'll see you guys next time.